Hello students, today I will give you the concept of electrical resistance. What is resistance in the conductor? So see here, what is resistance? It is the obstruction offered by conductor in the flow of current. And here I am talking about the metallic conductor. In metallic conductor, current is constituted by the flow of free electrons. Current is constituted by the flow of free electrons. And what is the meaning of free electrons? Are those valence electrons which have become free from an atom, and these free electrons are responsible for the conduction of current in any metallic conductor. Their concentration decides whether that conductor is a good conductor or it is a best conductor. If you see the silver and gold, here in the silver and gold, Ag and Au, the concentration of these free electron is nearly 10 to the power 29 per meter cube to 10 to the power 30 per meter cube. Means in 1 meter cube volume of silver or 1 meter cube volume of gold, there are this much number of free electrons. This much number of free electrons. Here you put how many zeros in front of 129. Here you can put 30 zero. While if you see copper, aluminum, in these concentration of free electrons is 10 to the power 24 per meter cube. It's clear. Means nearly about 10 to the power 5 times smaller than these two. It's clear. So that's why these are treated as the best conductors. These are treated as the best conductors, while these are treated as good conductors. So see here, in the insulators there is the negligible concentration of free electron. And what is that negligible concentration of free electrons? Insulators are those substances which do not conduct the electric current at all. For example, wood. It's clear. For example, a plastic wire. What is this concentration of free electron which we say negligible? It is 10 to the power 14 per meter cube. This is nearly this much concentration of free electrons in the insulators. Though this value is very large, but as compared to these two, it is very, very small. As compared to these two, it is 10 to the power 15 times smaller than this, and 10 to the power 10 times smaller than this. This is 10 to the power 10 times smaller than this. So that we assume negligible, though the number is very large. It is clear. So see here, in a metallic conductor, current is constituted by the free electrons. It is the free electrons which constitutes the current in any conductor. As we know that when electron is carrying a charge of negative charge of 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, and when these electrons will move from one into the other, what will happen? Current will be constituted in a conductor. But the motion of free electrons is not very much smooth. You can see here from another diagram. Here you can see this is a metallic conductor. Here I have represented some atoms as this and some atoms like this. It's clear. These are those atoms from which valence electron, from which no electron has been come out from the valence shell. Those atoms from which no electron has come out from the valence shell. That's why there is no signage shown here. But from here, electrons have come out from the valence shell. That's why it is represented by positively charged ion. It is represented as positively charged ion. And this line is representing the free electron. So as we know that in a metallic conductor which is solid, atoms are closely packed and these are the free electrons. These free electrons move randomly because of the thermal energy of the conductor. Because of the temperature of conductor, free electrons will move randomly. Because of the temperature, they will have some kinetic energy. And Due to that kinetic energy, they will move here and there. They will not move in a definite direction. Some are moving in this direction, some are moving in the opposite direction. So what will happen? The current produced by one electron will be neutralized by the other electrons. And what will be the net current in the conductor? There will be no net current in the conductor. There will be no net current in the conductor. Why there will be no net current in the conductor? Because the free electrons are moving randomly. They are not moving in a definite direction. In other way, we can say that equal number of electrons are crossing to any cross section in a given time. Means if 100 electrons are going from this side to this side in a given time, then 100 will move from this side to this side in that time. Means over that time interval there will be no net motion of free electrons, and when there is no net movement of free electrons, net transport of free electrons zero, current will be zero. It's clear? Now see here these free electrons have to pass through these small interatomic spaces. So when we apply, how will you make their motion directed? How will they move in a definite direction? So that can be made by applying a potential difference across the ends of the conductor. You connect the ends of the conductor with a cell, with a battery. It is clear. So this is the positive plate of the cell, this is the negative plate of the cell. This line is representing positive plate, a smaller line is representing negative plate. So this end will be at higher potential and this will be at lower potential. When a potential difference will be created, what will happen? All the free electrons will start experiencing a force which is directed from low potential to high potential. Because of this potential difference, what will happen? All the free electrons will start experiencing a force from low potential into the high potential end. When they will start experiencing force in this direction, what will happen? They will acquire a velocity component in this direction towards the higher potential end, but their velocity will not continuously increase. Why it will not increase? All the electrons are moving, are experiencing force towards the higher potential end. But even after that, their velocity is not continuously increasing. Why? Because the picture is not like this. Picture is like this. Electrons have to pass through interatomic spaces. Electrons have to pass through these interatomic spaces. And when they try to pass through these interatomic spaces, electron being negatively charged, electrons, these arrows are representing the motion of the free electrons towards the higher potential end. So electrons being negatively charged, positive ions being positively charged, there will be a force of attraction in between them. Because of that force of attraction, free electrons suffers collision with the positive ions. Free electrons suffers collision with the positive ions. During the collision, they will lose their energy and become slow or become momentarily at rest. But because of the potential difference, still the force is acting in this direction. Once again, they will accelerate, acquire some velocity in that direction, suffers collision with the positive ions, loses energy and come to momentarily at rest. So this thing continues again and again. Therefore, instead of acquiring a increasing velocity, they have a constant average velocity, average constant velocity towards the higher potential end, and that average constant velocity achieved by the free electron under the influence of the potential difference, it is of the order of 1 millimeter per second. It is of the order of 1 millimeter per second, means very small. If you see, it is 10 to the power minus 3 meter per second or even more smaller than this. It's clear. Depending upon the packing of the atoms within the conductor, how closely the atoms are packed. It is clear. So, Instead of acquiring due to the potential difference, instead of acquiring a continuously increasing velocity, they will acquire a constant average velocity because of the collisions of free electrons with the positive ions. And with this velocity, they will move in this direction. And when they will move in a definite direction, current will be constituted. Means current will be constituted only when you will apply the potential difference. If you don't apply the potential difference, electrons will not move like this. They will not move in a definite direction. When they will not move in a fixed direction, current will not be produced. It's clear? Though they are moving in the absence of the potential difference. When there is no potential difference, they are moving. But their motion in the random directions. Current produced by one electron is neutralized by the other electrons. And therefore, there is no net current. Current is produced in a conductor only when some potential difference is applied. What is the function of this cell? It provides a directed motion to the free electrons. It makes the motion of free electrons in a definite direction. It's clear? And because of this potential difference, electrons acquire a constant average velocity towards the higher potential end. It's clear? This type of motion which electron acquire under the influence of free electrons, that is called the driftson. That is called driftson. Instead of having a continuously increasing velocity, they drift towards the higher potential end. It's clear? And this is called the drift velocity. This is called drift velocity. It's clear? This thing is called drift velocity. So see here what will be the magnitude of drift velocity? What will be the speed with which they move towards the higher potential end? That will depend upon the number of collisions. More the collisions, more will be the obstruction and smaller will be the speed. Lesser the collision, there will be less obstruction, so greater will be the speed. It's clear? So what is resistance? Resistance is the obstruction offered by the conductor in the flow of free electron. This obstruction produces due to the collision of free electrons with the positive ions. More the collisions, more will be the resistance. Less the collisions, less will be the resistance. It's clear? So now you can see here the same thing I have written here that I am going to read. It's clear? It is obstruction offered by conductor in the flow of current. When a potential difference is applied across the ends of conductor, then free electrons acquire a very small velocity towards higher potential end. This velocity directed towards higher potential end. During their motion from low potential end to the high potential end, they suffer collision with the positive ions. During the collision, free electrons lose their energy, and the energy which they lose, that liberates in the form of heat energy. The energy which free electrons lose during the collision with the positive ions, that liberates in the form of heat energy. That energy is the heat energy. It's clear? Lose their energy and come to momentarily at rest. But due to existing potential difference, once again they accelerate and same process repeats. Because of this, free electrons, instead of moving continuously increasing velocity, acquire a constant velocity of order of 1 millimeter per second or even more smaller than this, which depends upon how closely the atoms are packed within the conductor. If they are more closely packed, it will be more smaller. It's clear? Because then there will be more number of collisions. So you see here, this obstruction offered by conductor in the flow of free electron is called electrical resistance. What is electrical resistance? You can see it is the obstruction offered by conductor in the flow of free electron is called electrical resistance. More the collisions of free electron with positive ions, more will be the resistance of the conductor. It's clear? So this is all about the resistance. What is the SI unit of resistance that you know? This is the SI unit that you have already studied in the class 9. But I am telling here SI unit of resistance. It is ohm. This we call as ohm. Its symbol is omega. This is a Greek letter which we call as omega. We symbolize this unit by this symbol. It's clear? Now see here. After this we will see what are the factors on which the resistance of a conductor depend. What are the factors on which the resistance of conductor depend? So number one, it is directly proportional to the length of conductor. More the length of conductor, what will happen? Electrons have to cover a longer distance, and when electrons have to cover a longer distance, they will suffer more collision. You can see here, suppose this is the one conductor is of this much length. There is another conductor whose length is more. So what will happen? In which case electron will suffer more collisions. Here they have to cover a smaller length, so they will suffer less number of collisions. Here they have to cover a longer length, so they will suffer more number of collisions. Means resistance of conductor will be directly proportional to the length. It's clear? It is directly proportional to the length of conductor. More the length of conductor, more will be the resistance. Number two, it is inversely proportional to the area of cross section of the conductor. Area of cross section, what do you mean by area of cross section? So you can see here, this is a conductor. What is cross section? Cross section, that section of conductor which is perpendicular to length means this. This is what in shape? It is circular in shape. You can see here, this is circular in shape. That I am showing another also. Here it is circular in shape. How can you find its area? Since circular in shape, pi r square. Now there is another conductor. You can see here, both are of approximately same length. Here also cross section is this, its area is more. Its area is more, its area is less. Now whose surface area is more? Surface area means the area of this curved surface. Area of this curved surface. So if you see here, since the area, both are having the same length, its length and its length is same, it's clear. Its cross-sectional area is smaller, its cross-sectional area is more. So you can see here, its curved surface area is more and here curved surface area will be less. It's clear. This is thicker and this is thinner. Means you can say that one which is having more area of cross section will be thicker. Having more cross sectional area, more area of cross section, that will be thicker. It's clear. And one which is having less area of cross section, that is thinner. That will be thinner. It is clear. Here it is having more area of cross section, so it is having more surface area, it is thicker. Here it is having less area of cross section, therefore it is thinner and surface area is less. Surface area is also less. Now see here, what happens when there will be the collisions. So instead of flowing through interior, electrons prefer to flow through the surface. Electrons will prefer to flow through this way. It's clear. Instead of flowing through interior, they will prefer to flow through surface. So see here, in which case more electrons can move? through this surface or through this surface. So since its surface area is more, therefore more electrons can flow here and less electrons can flow here. Because its surface area is more, it is having greater cross sectional area, therefore surface area is more. So here at a time more electrons can flow. It can produce more current. It is clear. It is producing more current can flow, means resistance is less. While here less electrons can flow. And when less electrons will flow, what will happen? There will be less current, its resistance will be more. Means resistance is directly proportional to the area of cross section. Greater the area of cross section, greater the area of cross section, less will be the resistance. Means in other way you can say thicker wire has less resistance. Thicker wire has less resistance. And why it will have less resistance? You can see here, wire is thicker, so A will be more, so R will be less. And thinner wire has less resistance. There is one more factors on which the resistance of conductor depend. It depends upon the nature of material of the conductor. Nature of material of conductor, it depends on the concentration of free electrons in the conductor. Here you can see these two materials are having more concentration of free electrons. This is the concentration of free electrons. Means if we take a 1 meter cube of copper, aluminum, gold and silver and find out the number of free electrons in them. Here in gold and silver it is of this order, 10 to the power 29 per meter cube to 10 power 30 per meter cube. This is 1 meter. 1 meter, volume will be 1 meter cube. It is clear. In copper and aluminum, its concentration is this. So nature of conductor means, nature of the material of conductor means it decided by the number of free electrons. It is clear. Here there are more free electrons, so they can carry more current. That's why it is called the best conductor. Less free electrons, therefore it can carry less current and it is only called the good conductor. It is clear. So it depends on the nature of material of conductor, that is wires of same length having the same area of cross section, but of different material will have different resistance. Suppose one is of copper and another is of gold. You can see here both are having same length, same area of cross section. Both the conductors are having same length, same area of cross section, but one is of copper, other is of gold, which will have more resistance. Copper one will have more resistance. Gold one will have, silver one will have less resistance. It is clear. So if you combine these two equations, equation 1 and equation 2, what will you get? R proportional to L upon A. Now this sign we can replace by equal sign using a constant. Using a constant we can replace by equal sign. So see here, it has been written in this way. R equals to rho into L upon A. What is rho? Rho is a Greek letter. It's clear. It is a Greek letter. How will you make? You can see here. You will start from here, go this way and then this. This way you will make. So it is a constant which depends on the nature of material of the conductor. It's clear. And it is called the specific resistance or resistivity of the material of the conductor. Specific resistance or resistivity of the material of the conductor. And as long as temperature is constant, as long as material is same, resistivity will remain unchanged. Resistivity, that is rho, will remain unchanged. It's clear. It depends upon the temperature for the metallic conductor as well as on nature of material. It is clear. For same material, it will remain same as long as temperature is same. While if you change the material, what will happen? Its value will be changed. Means resistance equals to rho into L upon A. What is rho? Rho is the resistivity. It is also called the specific resistance. Now you can see here, from here if you find out the formula of rho, so from here you can write rho equals to R into A divided by L. R into A divided by L. Now you take L equals to 1 meter, 1 centimeter, 1 millimeter, any unit you can take, and area also in the same unit, area 1 meter square or 1 centimeter square or 1 millimeter square. Means when the length equals to 1 unit, area is also equals to 1 square unit, you substitute here. So rho equals to R into 1 upon 1, that is R. Means what is resistivity? Resistivity of the material of conductor is equal to the resistance of unit length conductor of that material whose area of cross section is unity. What is resistivity? Resistivity of the material of conductor is equal to the resistance of unit length conductor. Resistance of unit length conductor of that material whose area of cross section is unity. Unity means 1 meter square, 1 millimeter square, 1 centimeter square. It is clear that thing. So this way you can describe the resistivity. It is clear. Now what will be the unit of resistivity? That also you can see. Unit of resistivity. So as we know that resistivity equals to rho equals to R into A upon L. What is unit of R? Just now I have told, it is ohm. Area, meter square, length, meter. So it will be cancelled. So ohm meter is the unit of resistivity. Now there is one more term, conductivity. Conductivity, it is the reciprocal of resistivity. This is the reciprocal of resistivity. Means its symbol is sigma. We denote the conductivity by the symbol sigma. We call it as sigma. This is also the Greek letter. It's clear. Sigma equals to 1 upon rho. Reciprocal of resistivity. What will be its unit? So you can see here, unit of rho is ohm meter. So when it will go up, so ohm inverse, meter inverse. Ohm power minus 1, meter power minus 1. Then similarly there is a term conductance. What is conductance? It is the reciprocal of resistance. It's clear. Conductance equals to 1 upon R. What is the unit of R? Ohm. So what is the unit of conductance? 1 upon ohm, that is ohm inverse. It's clear. Now after this, factors affecting the specific resistance. So that I am going to explain from your book. There is a table. So you can see in your book also. You can see here, perhaps it will be visible to you. Here, this is the table. The specific resistance of a substance is the characteristic property. It is different for different substances. Its value is different for different substances. It is very low for metals. For metals, its value is very low. For alloys, it is more. Alloys means which are made by mixing two or more metals. Alloys are those materials which are made by mixing two or more metals. For example, constantan and manganese. You can see here, for some alloys, you can see here, the name I am underlying here, constantan or manganese. These are the alloys. Constantan and manganese, these are the alloys. It's clear. So for alloys, its value is value of the resistivity for the alloys. It is more than metals. Alloys are those materials which are made by mixing two or more than two metals. It's clear. So see here, it is very low for metals. and alloys it is 10 to the power minus 8 ohm meter. Low for semiconductors. Semiconductors are those materials whose conductivity lies in between insulators and conductors. Whose conductivity, semiconductors, are those materials whose conductivity lies between insulators and conductors. It is more than insulators. Conductivity is more than insulators, while less than conductors. What is the free electron concentration here? 10 to the power 20 per meter cube. Now, which material are semiconductor? Generally, the material composed by tetravalent atom. Materials which are composed by tetravalent atom. Tetravalent atom means whose valence shell is consisting 4 electrons, like the carbon atom. What is the electronic configuration of carbon? 2, 4. Valence shell is having 4 electrons. But the best suited semiconductors are which are composed by germanium and silicon. Both are tetravalent. It is clear. Here their conductivity is more than insulators but less than conductors. But if we see the level of their conductivity, the extent of their conductivity, it is feebly small. Conductivity is feeble. Conductivity is feeble. And since it is feeble means very small. Since it is very small, therefore it don't have any practical utility. Semiconductors don't have any practical utility in its pure form. In detail we will study afterwards. In pure form, semiconductors have no utility in current electricity. Why? Because their conductivity is very small. That's why they are of no use. They are equivalent to the insulators. It's clear. So, in terms of resistance, their resistance is more than that conductors but less than insulators. Resistance is less than insulators, but if you talk in terms of conductivity, it is this. But in case of resistance, so in case of resistance, I am writing here resistance of semiconductors. It is less than conductors, insulators. It is less than insulators, but more than conductors. It's clear. So you can see here, it is different for specific resistance of a substance. Its characteristic property means as long as the material is same, specific resistance will remain same. It is different for different substances. Very low for metals and alloys. Its order is of 10 power minus 8 ohm meter for metals and alloys. Low for semiconductors and very high for insulators. It's clear. You can see here this table is given. You can see metal, silver, copper, aluminum, lead, tungsten, iron, tin, steel. Here there's specific resistivity is of the order of 10 power minus 8 ohm meter. But in case of alloys also, brass, manganese, constantan, nichrome, it is 10 power minus 8 ohm meter. But if you see insulators, it is very high. There is one more point. The resistivity or specific resistance of a substance depends on its temperature. In metallic conductor, it increases with increase in temperature. In metallic conductor, resistivity increases with temperature. It is clear. Increases with temperature. Means more will be the temperature, resistivity will be more for metallic conductors. But for semiconductors, it decreases. It's clear. For metals, For metals, greater the temperature, greater will be the resistivity. Though it is not the exact relationship, but the exact relationship is not in your course. It is clear. So just I have written here like this: more the temperature, more will be the resistivity. But in case of semiconductors, it is inversely proportional to the temperature. It is semiconductors. Means when you will increase the temperature of semiconductors, what will happen? Their resistivity will decrease, their resistance will decrease, and conductivity will increase. While in case of alloys, for alloys it is, for alloys resistivity means specific resistance. Resistivity depends very weakly on temperature, depends very much weakly on temperature. Means there is no significant change in resistivity of alloys on increasing the temperature. No significant change. Change on rho for alloys with change in temperature. With change in temperature, there is no significant change in the resistivity of the alloys. It is clear. Now, after this, we will do one more thing. What will be the effect of the stretching of the wire? Stretching of the wire on resistance and on resistivity. It is clear. What is the effect of the stretching of wire on resistance and resistivity? So see here, resistivity remain unaffected. There will be no change in the resistivity. It's clear. On stretching the wire means pulling in the either side. It is clear. It is pulled in both the sides. What will happen? Its length will be increased. Area of cross section will decrease. There it will not affect to the resistivity. Resistivity will remain unchanged. But what will happen to the resistance? So when the length of wire is increased n times by stretching, then its resistance increases n square times. Means if you make the length twice, what will happen to the resistivity? It will increase 2 square times. Means it will become R dash equals to 2 square into R, that is 4R. It's clear. If you make the length thrice, means if you make it 3 times, then what will happen to the resistivity? R dash equals to 3 square into R, that is 9R. It will become 9R. And how it becomes n square times? So that you can see here, that is illustrated in this table. Here there are 2 columns. Length, area of cross section are given before stretching and here after stretching. Suppose it is increased, its length is increased n times. It's clear. So before stretching length was L, after stretching length is n into L. Before stretching, if the area of cross section is A, after stretching area of cross section will be A upon N. And why it will be? Because volume will remain same in both cases. What is the formula of volume? Length into area of cross section. It is L into A. It should also be here. Volume, because volume will not change. It is equals to length is NL, area of cross section is A upon N, that is equals to LA. What is resistivity? It is same. So find out the resistance. In this case, R equals to rho into length divided by area of cross section. R equals to rho multiplied by length divided by area of cross section. Here R dash equals to rho multiplied by length NL upon area of cross section A upon N. When you will simplify, N will go up, N square rho into L upon A. What is rho into L upon A? It is R. So it is this. R dash equals to N square into R. It's clear? Means if you increase the length 2 times, resistance will increase 2 square times of the original value. Increase the length 3 times, resistance will increase 3 square times of its original value. If you increase the length 4 times, earlier length was L, now it has become 4 into L, resistance will increase 4 square, that is 16 times. It's clear? Now there is one more thing, effect of folding of wire on itself, on resistance and resistivity. If the wire is folded on itself, then what will be the effect on the resistance and resistivity? You can see here this is a long wire and I have folded it on itself. I have folded it on itself. It's clear. Suppose this is the wire is of this length. It has been folded over its length, means folded over its length means like this. It has been folded like this. It's clear. So what will be the effect on the resistivity? There will be no effect on the resistivity, that you can see here. There will be no effect on the resistivity on stretching or on folding. It's clear. Now what is the effect on the resistance? So resistance will decrease N square times. Means before folding if it was R, so after folding it is R dash equals to R upon N square. So see here length is L before folding, after folding L upon N. Area of cross section before folding A, after folding it is N into A, because volume will remain same. So in the before folding, what was the resistance? This. After folding, R dash equals to rho into length is L upon N, area divided by area of cross section N into A. When you will simplify, it will come out this. Now what is this rho L upon A? You can see this is R. So R dash equals to R upon N square. It's clear. So you can see here, if a wire is doubled on itself, I am writing here only doubled on itself. You can see doubled on itself. Doubled on itself means folded 2 times. Folded on itself. It's clear? Means in 2 fold. Folded in 2 folds. What will happen to the resistance? Resistance will decrease 2 square times. R dash will be R upon 2 square, that is equals to R upon 4. It will become R upon 4. If it is tripled on itself, tripled on itself, it's clear. If it is tripled on itself, then what will happen? Means it is folded in 3 folds like this. It is 1, 2 and this is 3 fold. What will happen to the resistance? Resistance will decrease 3 square times, that is R upon 3 square, that is R upon 9. So this is all about in this lecture. In next lecture we will study on Ohm's law. It's clear. So thank you.